My name is Cheryl Erickson, and I'm the Indigenous focused ECE instructor with Louis Riel Vocational College. Today in Health, Safety, and Nutrition for Young Children, we will be looking at Chapter 11, and Chapter 11 is teaching children with special needs, or inclusion is the other term we use in early childhood education. Before I get started, I just want to remind you to please read your Chapter 11. The video is not a replacement for your daily chapter readings. So when we talk about children and special health care needs, we're looking at a definition of children with ongoing chronic health conditions. And those conditions will require health-related services beyond what we would typically do daily with children in our care. So something more physical, something more developmental or behavioral. So we may have special individuals coming in from the Manitoba Society for Disabilities or the Developmental Movement Center, things like that will help with physiotherapy and planning goals for the child to help them learn, grow, and develop, help them meet those needs. What is meant by functional status is basically how well a child is able to function in the classroom in relationship with moving around and with the activities provided. And so things might need to be modified. They might need special equipment for us to be able to best care for them. A lot of times, children coming into daycare programs that have a lot of additional needs will often have funding for an additional staff to work with them. And so therefore, we have another set of hands that's going to help not only with that child and their delays, but it also works to help with all the children as well. When we look at children who have special needs or children inclusion, under that inclusion umbrella, we're always going to look at them as a child first. They are a 4-year-old child that has Down syndrome, or they are a 3-year-old child that has cystic fibrosis or Down syndrome. So always a child first. You treat them like a child, and we modify, we do what we need to do to help with the disability. There are other services that they might require depending on what their need is, disability is. It could be medication, it could be a special diet, it could be tube feeding, and again, it could be medical equipment that they need, or it could be frequent use of health services. I'm thinking of the most prominent disability that I worked with. We had a child who had lung issues because of RSV, and that child was on oxygen all the time, had a wheelchair because they were shortness of breath, limited mobility, and a nurse, registered nurse accompanied that child daily to the child care center because if any of the equipment failed, they were the expert in that, and the child needed a lot of different types of suction. It was more medical treatment and things that as ECEs was out of our realm of skills. So ensuring access to education is really important as well with children, no matter what their disability is. We want to ensure that they have access to the environment, all the supports within that environment. We want to work at developing the whole child, and we want to ensure that we're meeting their needs and their educational goals as well. And so with each type of facility that they may enter. So for example, with daycare center, we look at individual health plans when it's health related, and I made reference to the URIS, the nurse doing training, because it was asthma, so we got to learn about inhalers, or it was seizures, so there was a medication. So that's the health side of it, as well as cognitively, if there is some type of developmental delay or disability with mobile movement, there is going to be an individual education plan as well. So those are the ones that we see most commonly in the daycare center when it comes to caring for children. Inclusion, all centers will have an inclusion policy as well as a reference to inclusion made in their philosophy. We will include everybody, no matter what their disability is. We just need to be made aware of it so that we can accommodate our environment as well as our program for that particular child. So we want to make sure that when that child comes into the program, that everything is ready. We're trained on any healthcare plans, individual healthcare plans. We know that educational plans. We've met the support team that's going to work with us and help us train us so that the child is meeting those goals. Those are really important, a really important process. We're going to learn how to administer that medication. That could be via the nurse. Parents are a good training tool as well, because parents will have gone through this training process also. And we want to educate all our staff so that everybody knows how to manage any illnesses or disabilities within that environment. We're also going to want to ensure that everything is very clean and sanitized. We want to control infections, ensuring that no foreign substances are entering the body. Sometimes you see that with tube feedings, and there's a very detailed process on how you do that and how you clean it, how you clean your hands before you touch anything, because that's an opening into the body and you don't want to cause any infections. As well as there could be dental issues there we want to take care of, because dental health is really important, and dental issues, infections can spread throughout your body. Asthma is, you can't breathe, it's life-threatening. We want to ensure that we know how to use that medication. And again, all the equipment involved with that, inhalers, it's done in a very sanitized, clean way. Food allergies, skin allergies, we don't want any cross-contamination. What's your process? What's your protocol? It should all be readily established using gloves, and knowing what children are allergic to so that they don't ingest it. And again, there's no cross-contamination involved with that. So really important information. Classroom management strategies for conditions related to the immune system. Again, we're talking about dental. We could have some daily toothbrushing to keep those teeth clean, to help with the prevention of cavities. Teaching kids how to floss, or maybe part of that health plan is that we're flossing the child's teeth as well. Things that get stuck in the teeth can cause cavities. Water given after snacks and meals, which cleanses the palate, cleans out the mouth. Those could be part of that plan, and is important to keeping that particular child healthy. Asthma, know what the signs are of an asthma attack, know how to administer that asthma medication, that inhaler, and those steps, and to know what to do in the event that the inhaler might just not be working that particular day and the child needs to have medical attention sought for them. Allergies, we need to know what the child is allergic to, if it's food, is it bug bites, what type of bug, wasp. We want to know that so that we are prepared in the event that they are stung. What's happening? Is it a EpiPen that they need? Is it an antihistamine? What is that process involved? Do you apply a cream? And again, if it is an anaphylactic type of reaction, knowing that that means that they're swelling in their throat, it's going to block their airway, they are not going to be able to breathe, they could die. So that EpiPen needs to be administered immediately, and you would need to call 911 because they will need you to seek medical attention for them. Conditions related to the nervous system are very important too, and it's important to know why, what has happened that has caused that condition. So understanding the illness is really, really important too in the treatment of it. So, ADD, fetal alcohol, attention deficit hyperactive, so ADHD are some terms that are related to illnesses of or conditions of the nervous system. So, the children often are medicated because impulse control, inability to concentrate, it just kind of slows them down a little bit and gets those cognitive processes going. They will have a plan as well, an individualized health plan regarding their medication, as well as an education plan. They'll need some additional supports to help them be successful. Autism, learning disabilities, cerebral palsy, again, fetal alcohol, spinal bifida, all these are conditions of the nervous system. There could be some physical looks to the children when it comes to these illnesses as well, ways that they're going to behave. There's probably medications involved. We want to know best how to treat them and best practices as far as the education plans that help best meet their needs. And when we're best meeting their needs, we're setting them up for success in the daycare environment and then for later on in school. So that does conclude Chapter 11 in Nutrition, Health, and Safety. Do see your instructor if you have any questions or need clarification regarding Chapter 11, and also just to check in to ensure that you haven't missed any handouts or assignments pertaining to Chapter 11.